Has a new unicorn. It is the 16th unicorn of 2021. It is the trucking and logistics platform BlackBuck. Think of it as an Uber for trucks. It's a marketplace for trucks and it matches trucks with the load. Joining me now is the man of the hour, the new unicorn, the co-founder and CEO of BlackBuck, Rajesh, joining us live on ET Now. Rajesh, a big congratulations to you. Thanks for joining us live right here on ET Now. An important milestone that's been crossed?
Thanks, Nayantara, for having me here. We raised this month. And I think it's the pandemic year wasn't really great for the core logistics sector. E-commerce logistics did really well, but core logistics sector was really affected. Truckers didn't have enough jobs. I think they were struggling to get their ends meet. So I think as a resultant, what was really important is how do we really restructure the overall journey and how do we move forward? So I think what is BlackBuck today is a core strength of at least half the country, half the truckers in the country using it, and it's like exploding from a perspective of usage on the demand side from shippers. So it's a very renewed model into which we have stepped into 2021, and this particular fundraise is a huge validation to our next steps on how we are organizing and making this entire trucking space efficient for the country.
I want to bring this one point out. I called you an Uber for trucks. Now, I as a user, go on the Uber platform to actually find the trucks. Can you tell us that how do you manage having the truckers, the language problem, the education problem, the digital literacy problem, because your truckers have to also use the BlackBuck platform?
Yes, so I think that's the one big problem we have as a company solved very deeply over the last 6 years, right? And getting truckers use an app and getting truckers to trust online methods to do business was the biggest challenge which we were facing, while we were building the business. So back in 2015, when BlackBuck started, Indian truck owners, only about 35 to 40% of them had smartphones, and driver smartphone penetration was only 7%. Today, where we are, truck owner smartphone penetration has crossed, I would say, would be near 100%, and driver smartphone penetration has crossed 70 to 75%, right? So with the entire advent of data revolution in the country, so that has happened. Now, on top of it, it is for BlackBuck to have created very simple, easy tools which truckers have started adopting. So for truckers, very easy method to do their electronic tolling on our app, very easy method to do online fueling on the app. They use the app to install a GPS device, track the driver, understand the driving behavior, and on top of this there are basically loads, right? So whenever a shipper orders for a load, it essentially gets posted and gets broadcasted to all the truck owners across the country, right? And we have a lot of data with respect to these trucks, where these trucks are, what are the favorite lanes of these particular trucks, and is this particular right load, let's say, relevant for a particular truck owner? And doing that entire intelligent matching, we basically post target loads to the truckers. They accept, and then the transaction happens. So that's how it works. And the question you asked about the technology, the BlackBuck app is a multilingual app in 6 different languages, so that it's easily possible by a truck owner, be it from any demography, to switch to that particular language and keep using. And also the entire user experience is built in such an easy way that anybody, it's pretty intuitive to sort of use, and most of the user research happens with truckers, and we understand what kind of products they really like using, and what's the product development cycle for them is very specific and very custom in-house for the truckers of the country.
Club during the pandemic and the series of lockdowns that actually began in March 2020. How was that for business? Because suddenly, your platform would have had to struggle with the first national lockdown, then you had mini lockdowns, containment zones.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think the trucking industry was probably one of the severely affected. Right, most of the trucks which are bought by truck operators are financed. So which means that if even they are skipping a couple of days, it starts hurting their repayment schedules. And I think the first lockdown was obviously like 3 months of lack of material movement, right, from the core perspective. And while the entire trucking industry was getting stabilized, then the second lockdown again happened. So I think what the state in which the country's truckers are, it's a bit tough for them as we speak. Definitely there are a lot of truckers who have missed their EMI payments, and I think what is in this entire context, we've been fortunate to have played our part, because availability, BlackBuck, what essentially has made is that availability to solutions where they can save money, where they can make more revenue, where they can fill their idle capacities, has become very easy for them using the BlackBuck platform. So obviously, this has helped the entire digital adoption, right? And but I think as an industry, it is still yet to fully recover from the lockdown issues, which have caused and which have sort of put them in a bit of bad shape at the moment.
So tell me something, Rajesh, who are your clients? Are they the truck operators? Are they corporates? Can it also be consumers that are looking to, get stuff from other cities? How does it work?
So we've basically customers on two sides, right? One side, which are the truck operators who need these services, the fleet management services we provide, who need loads. So a typical truck operator is a person in India who owns about 2 to 3 trucks. That's like the largest part of the demography. So they are our large set of customers. So roughly about 700,000 customers is what is on the trucker side, is what we have. On the demand side, people who basically post loads and are in need of a trucking capacity are the shippers, the other side of the customers. We work with multiple large enterprises. So we work with about close to 200 large enterprises in the country. Name any leader in any manufacturing space, we work with them. And more important is that we have about close to 10,000 plus small and medium scale shippers who use the platform to procure trucks. So that's a SME shipper who might be a textile manufacturer, or might be a agricultural farmer, or might be an agricultural trader, or be a large 3PL company, be a large broker or a small broker. So anyone and everyone who needs a truck can essentially order a truck on the platform on the demand side, and on the supply side are small and medium scale transport operators. So that's like that's the demography of the marketplace.
And who are your main competitors?
Yeah, so competition for us, at the moment, there's no one platform which competes with us end-to-end, doing, end-to-end services, one-stop shop for a trucker, right? Helping him save money, save costs, become efficient, and help earn more money, right? That's what we do as a company. There is on the marketplace side, there is small companies which are getting founded at the moment, who basically are trying to aggregate loads, right? So on the fleet services side, each of the vectors of be it tolling or be it telematics, there is independent competition, with which we compete. But like to say there is no specific one competition at scale, with whom we are competing as of.
It's been quite a journey. You've entered the Unicorn Club. So let's talk about that. Rajesh, how did you get this idea? Because, looking back, okay, yes, there was a problem you were trying to solve, but all those years ago, it must have sounded absolutely crazy that you wanted to start like an Uber for trucks.
Yeah, so Nayantara, I was after studying engineering when I graduated in 2010, I got a job with ITC Limited, and it's into manufacturing, and I was part of the leaf tobacco supply chain based out of Guntur, and that is where we did like ton of work in improving supply chain processes, improving supply chain reliability, cost efficiencies, right? So over the course of 4 years, working in the tobacco supply chain, we were able to save about 20% of the total supply chain costs. And one of the large areas from which we got savings was essentially transportation. And, whatever we used to touch in the area of transportation, by a little bit of lift and shift, we were able to save large amounts of money by optimizing the deadheads, by optimizing the vendor base. So that is where the entire thinking started, that whatever could happen at ITC scale, if we were able to sort of, zoom out and then do it for the entire country together, massive efficiencies could be unlocked. So that's where the entire thinking started back in ITC. And then I was very fortunate to find, my co-founders also in the story of ITC. And three of us, me, Suku and Chanakya, started building BlackBuck in the year 2015. So it was more a professional experience, understood what logistics is and how, fragmented, how unorganized, how inefficient it is. And then wanting to do the similar baby steps which we took at ITC at an India scale level led to the founding of BlackBuck.
Do you remember the first trucker you onboarded? What it went through to onboard the first trucker?
Yeah, so the trucker onboardings, basically, basically for any big thing, you just need to start, and you need to start small. I think these two are the biggest things, right? So nothing. I think we started getting orders. We started getting orders from our clients, and then we had to find capacity on certain specific lanes. So we just took our bags and then we went on the road. So we went on the road, started waving at trucks, and then started signing them up. Started building out a digital directory in terms of their name, their phone number, where they are, and then starting to contact them whenever we have a load. And then that's how the entire, obviously humble beginnings were, where everything and anything was done at one table to take a truck and then place it, and then provide the end-to-end experience to clients. So those startings. I think like any other startup, the initial memories are pretty sweet, where you just basically go in and just figure out what needs to be done. And good part about us was that trying to find a truck was not new for us, because in ITC itself, we were behind truckers, chasing them at toll plazas, chasing them in auto others, and then going and talking to them and signing them up to work with ITC directly to save money for ITC. So I think that the first time I ever went out on the road to find trucks was with the ITC. And then I think that experience helped to build BlackBuck easily.
And you don't have to give them smartphones. You don't have cases of you got them and then you couldn't track them down. They changed their numbers.
Yeah. So we obviously, when we were starting out, Uber and Ola had done a massive disruption in the cab space. So obviously we thought that, the entire business of, truck aggregation will work like taxi aggregation. So what we did is that the first set of shipments, we just gave away smartphones. We gave away 100 smartphones. I think about not more than 5 of those drivers were active after that. 95 of the smartphones just went down with the first trip. So we understood that this is not how the problem statement of trucking will be solved, because so the smartphones were given out of 100 smartphones. I think we got only the data for even 20, and then after the trip was over, only 5 smartphones were working. The rest all were just taken away for free by the truckers, right? So we knew that, okay, this is not the way to scale, right? So then we said that, okay, we'll find truckers who have smartphones. And then obviously, as I was mentioning to you earlier, only 40%, of the truck owners had smartphones. So it was tough to find. And then we understood that, the frequency in which they get loads is not the same frequency as that of cabs. So in a month, a trucker one truck does 5 trips. So which means that he uses the service once in 5 days to 7 days to find a load, if he really is not finding out one. So essentially what it led us to was say that, hey, truckers don't use this very frequently. So we need to find multiple different methods to engage them, to make them use technology, become technology savvy, trust online platforms. And that is where the entire wave of, helping them manage with their fleets started back in 2017. And as we speak today, we are one of the largest or the largest fleet management company in the country, enabling truckers manage their fleet operations very effectively. Payments, telematics, financial services, whatever end-to-end needs which truckers have. So obviously, yeah, so there's always a beginning, it doesn't work, and you just fast iterate to get to a point which works. And yeah, we're lucky to have and been in the place today where we are.
Are you dreaming of an IPO? We're talking just before the Zomato market debut.
Yeah, I think we were just discussing this a couple of days back that like I think Indian entrepreneurs just keep setting like a newer bar like every, I would say, like month, right? So it just like today obviously we cross $1 billion valuation milestone, but that's really not important, as I was mentioning to you, right? Because it's a very strong validation of the newer things we are doing with this particular fundraise, number one. And number two is that I think the way a unicorn today feels like, it feels like nothing, right? I mean, like IPO is sort of the newer, like a company just done well, it's more equal to an IPO, right, in the Indian ecosystem. So I think, for us, we still have a long runway of investing deeply in the markets we are present in. The opportunities which we have needs us to, iterate more, experiment a lot, and go more deeper. So I think we will be private definitely for a while, but I think from a readiness perspective, because I think the way things are moving super fast in the current world, I think preparedness is probably on all our minds in terms of preparing the company, getting it really, run in a well-oiled processes methodology from an accounting standpoint. Everything, I think we'll start our readiness perspective, but I think not in the near future there are any plans of really taking it out.
With that, Rajesh, I'd like to thank you for joining us here on ET Now. There's quite a journey that you've had, a lot of lessons that you learned from your first job at ITC, which you then used for solving this problem. 100 smartphones given, you could only find 5 of them. Congratulations, and look forward to more interviews in the future.
Thank you, Nayantara. See you.